Just a reminder, turn your cell phones to vibrate off or mute. And we'll start with an opening statement from Coach.
First of all, thanks for everybody coming out and supporting us and cover us. I want to probably start with our students. I thought our students showed up early. Obviously, it's a 12 o'clock game. You got weather, and the fact that our students were there going crazy early means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to our team. I'd also like to thank the fans as well. I thought the same thing. I thought really good environment for a 12 o'clock game. The weather, I thought was beautiful, and I thought was perfect game conditions, but some would see otherwise. So the fact that we had such a good crowd, very, very appreciative of it. We could do better, but very, very thankful for the support that we got today. Overall, I thought probably the most complete football game we've played since we've been here. Offense, defense, and special teams. Very rewarding to me that we've been investing in special teams in a lot of different ways, time, resources, and to see our special teams and to see DeAndre Tompkins specifically get a punt return for a touchdown is awesome. So on defense, I thought our defensive line was disruptive all day long. I thought the interception that Amani had was really good. Stayed connected, was very confident and comfortable turning and locating the ball in the air, which is a difficult fundamental to learn, and I thought that was really impressive. And I thought our D-line was just very disruptive. So that was great. And then offensively, obviously early on in the game, you're sitting there as the head coach and you're saying we probably need to get Saquon Barkley more touches. But with the offense we run, they were putting us in a position to not put the ball in Saquon Barkley's hands. And if you're going to do that, we have a number of other guys that can hurt you. You look at Saquon Barkley's stats. Obviously, he had a great game and was very, very productive. But I love the fact that we got quarterbacks that could beat you. We got tight ends that could beat you. We got receivers that could beat you. And when you're one-dimensional in any phase, then you could be stopped. And when you have so many different people and so many different phases that can be explosive and make plays, then you're going to be difficult for people to game plan against. So very appreciative of the staff and the commitment that they made all off season and this camp. Same thing with the players. Most consistent camp that we had, which equates to the most probably complete game that we've had since we've been here. And then the last thing that the area that we really need to work on that we're going to have to talk about all week long is today we were a first half team. Now I got to get the second half fixed. Open up the questions.
Raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you.
Hello, James.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome.
Can you compare where your defense is at to where it was going into last season, especially against the run? And was the plan to play as many people as you did in the first half? I think it was something like close to between 25 and 30 guys.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys that we feel like have earned playing time. So then we want to get them in the game and rotate. Obviously, the second half allowed us to play a lot of guys, which I think is really, really important because it creates a healthy locker room. The more guys that feel like they have a significant role in the team, we talk about the importance of every player and every person in our program, their role. But obviously, when you can get guys playing time and get out there on the field in Beaver Stadium, it's special. So that's awesome. But yeah, we want to play as many play as many guys as we possibly can. That's kind of our game plan. We want to be able to create depth and develop depth. And the only way you do that is being able to play guys in the first half of games where it's legitimate, legitimate plays, not end of the game, garbage time.
Where is your defense now compared to a year ago? How much better is it?
I think our defense is in a good place. I don't know if I can sit here and measure it right now after the first game and not watching the film yet, but I thought our defense came out and played really well. We were dominant up front. I'd like to see a little bit more pass rush, but I thought we were dominant up front, especially inside. I've been saying this since I got here. The game of football is played up front. Our O-line has dramatically improved. Our D-line depth is dramatically improved. We still got to get some guys, in pass rush situations that put the fear in a offensive coordinator or offensive tackle or quarterback's mind, that will come.
James, can you talk about over here? How's it going? Can you talk about the way Can you talk about the way DeAndre's punt return broke and the job he did judging whether to field a punt, whether to run, whether to fair catch? That's kind of a fine line, and it looked like he did a pretty good job with that.
Yeah, I thought he looked really confident today, and that was a combination of a lot of things. I think obviously he's a much more experienced player at this point of his career. I think Terry Smith's done a great job with those guys as well. And then the feedback that I've gotten is to stay away from them. Stay away from the punt returner. You know, you question them, you're screaming, you're yelling. Leave them alone. You know, let them play, and they've earned that. Those guys have earned that. So to see him have some success, I thought Apke had a chance to break one there. You know, in the second half as well. Got grabbed by his baby toe and taken down. But I think that's going to be really significant for us, is if we can really become a threat in the return game, which we showed some of that today.
James on the left. It seems to me, and I don't have any metrics to back this up yet, I don't know if they exist, but it seems like punt returning has become, overall in the last 10, 15 years, more cautious. Just catch the ball, avoid a turnover, don't go for returns like Tompkins. And he had two huge ones. What's your opinion about that, and what have you conveyed to your guys? And do you think that's true overall nationally?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, like you said, I probably have to go back and check that. I haven't felt that way. I do feel like punters have gotten better. Yeah. There's the punt location, I think, is something that's emphasized more. Hang time. I think guys are doing a much better job in the college game of directional punting with hang time. But I haven't necessarily felt the way that you felt. We want to be aggressive. You know, we want to make great decisions, but then we want to be aggressive in all three phases. And I thought DeAndre showed that today. Obviously, you know, for us, you know, it's been an area that's probably been magnified, that we haven't been as explosive or as productive as we'd like to be. So to see it today, it probably is magnified in all of our minds, just because we haven't seen that, you know, in a number of years here.
Hey James, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. I'm just curious, how do you balance when you're up 35-0 at halftime in the first game? You want to get your first team guys as many reps as possible, but there's also injury concerns, of course. So how do you balance that, and do you feel like your guys got enough reps today, maybe more than you wanted them to, less than you wanted them to? Was there ever any concern with having Saquon and Trace out there late in the third quarter?
No, yeah, I felt like we managed it well. I mean, we've all seen example after example of when, you know, maybe fans or people think the game is out of hand or over, and it's not. You know, so you better put yourself in a position that you really feel like the game is in control to make the change and go to the second team. So I thought we managed it pretty well. You know, typically with my defense, you know, that's an area when I communicate with those guys, they're probably a little less. They play a lot of guys in general, but making that change of getting, you know, the Cabindas and the Marcus Allens out of the game, there's probably some times where I'd like to do it a little bit earlier. And typically what happens is on the headset is I usually start out making recommendations. And then sometimes when the recommendation isn't taken, then I make the call. And that happens probably a little bit more with our defense. You know, I think our defensive coaches, they're so competitive, just like our offensive guys are, and you know, they don't want to take those guys off the field. So I think, you know, we probably could be a little bit better there, but overall I thought we managed it well because, you know, I've seen example after example of games that are high 30s and someone comes back in the second half and wins that game.
James, can you describe, hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Can you describe what you saw to your secondary today, and what enables Grant Haley to be the guy to switch to nickel when those situations call for it?
I think our secondary is playing with a lot of confidence. It's a very experienced, seasoned group. You know, we feel like we got, you know, really three starters. You know, with Grant and Christian and Amani, and those guys are playing a lot of ball. And then obviously the fact that we moved Grant into the star position or the nickel position, whatever you want to call it, really allows us to get Amani on the field. And that's probably the main reason why we do that, because we have just so much confidence in those three. And then, you know, the other thing is Grant's played a lot of football. You know, played a lot of football in that position as well. So, you know, that's where, you know, we probably are a little bit light in scholarship numbers. at the linebacker position, but that's our philosophy. I mean, we're going to play so much nickel, you know, and then the other thing is I'd make the argument in a lot of ways we're really a 4-2-5 defense anyway, whether it's going star or whether it's transitioning safeties to that position anyway. So I'm pleased. I'm pleased with how our corners are playing. I'm pleased with how our secondary is playing with confidence. That comes with experience. That comes with success, and they've had a good share of both of those things.
Time for 2 more.
Coach, how we doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Now today, plenty of guys got their first substantial reps for you here in the first game. Who really, in your opinion, passed that initial test and you move forward with more confidence than you had coming into the season, maybe with those guys?
You know, I know everybody hates when I say this. You know, it's the answer that the media and the fans hate, but it's just hard for me to answer that right now without seeing the film, because we played so many guys to kind of sit here and tell you, you know, this guy kind of went in and earned a more significant role, or, you know, made some mistakes and still has some growing to do. You know, I'm not sure at this point if I you know, can necessarily answer that question the way I'd like to. So you know, I'll probably be in a better position to answer that at Wednesday's press conference.
2 things. On Saquon's 80-yard run, can you describe what happened at the, did you want to review, you took a timeout, so just describe that. And then secondly, Tommy Stevens was able to get a good bit of time. How important is that for him to get a number of reps?
Yeah, you know, the thing with Saquon, I wasn't upset with the call. I was upset because I was told that that's not a reviewable play, which doesn't make sense to me. It's a scoring play. I've been told scoring plays and third down plays are reviewable, you know, type plays. You know, the answer is if you basically are there and in one more step you score, then it's reviewable. But from the 7-yard line, it's not. You know, it also falls into that other category, which is egregious calls. And that was my argument is, you know, if a guy scores a touchdown and is blown out of bounds, to me that's pretty egregious. And I'm not necessarily saying that the call was wrong. My argument, my frustration was that seems like a play that should be reviewable. If a guy scores a touchdown and he didn't step out of bounds, I would hope that's something that the replay booth could overturn. What I was being told on the field, it's not. So I just want to understand that a little bit better. I want to understand that rule a little bit better. When I actually watched it on Jumbotron, I could see why that was called out. You really couldn't see whether his heel was down, but I could see why they made the call. My concern and my frustration was, why is that not reviewable? So, you know, obviously we'll have some conversations about that, just so I understand the rule better more than anything.
And Tommy Stevens.
Oh, and Tommy Stevens, excuse me. Yeah, you know, obviously we want to get Tommy as much reps as we possibly can. We got some packages for him that you guys saw today that we'll use throughout the year. It'll be a part of our game plans. But then obviously, you know, being able to get him in for, you know, a good percentage of the second half is also helpful. So, you know, we had a few silly penalties that I wasn't really pleased with, situations that we've covered in detail and been pretty thorough about, that we got to eliminate those. I thought we had some substitution issues from the sideline, which is something I take a lot of pride in. It's just how organized we are throughout the week, that we eliminate those things. And we had a little bit of sloppiness there, which is something I take a lot of pride in. So we got to get those things cleaned up. The thing that I talk about with our players all the time is that we won 3 of the 4 main statistics that we preach all the time. You know, we won the drive start battle, which I think is the best way to talk about your special teams. We won the drive start battle. We tied the turnover battle. You know, obviously you never want to turn the ball over in your red zone where you take points off the board, but we were able to overcome that. The penalty battle, we won that. And then explosive play battle, we won that. We were either 16 explosive plays to 0 or 16 explosive plays to 1. I'm not really sure on that. I think there may have been a run at the end of the game that was over that 12-yard threshold. I'm not sure on that. But either way, we're pretty dominant in that area. I think that's probably the stat that I'm most impressed about from our defense is holding a team to no explosive plays or 1 explosive plays, which I think you guys know that's a pass of 15 yards or a rush of 12 yards or more is how we do it. So overall, good football game. I want our staff, I want our players to enjoy this game tonight. And then we'll wake up tomorrow, we'll grade the film, and then we'll move on to the next opponent. It'll be painful for me to come into the press conference and for you guys to ask me questions about the previous game, because I'm going to want to move on to the next game and say it like 35 times to you who we're playing. But right now, we're going to focus on the Akron win, and we're going to enjoy this for like 8 hours, and then move on to our next opponent. So thank you so much for coming out and covering us.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.